Canada has become so unaffordable that we've just hit a 10-year high in Canadians moving to the U.S. The number one reason? Cost of living and jobs. That got me thinking, how big is the real difference in cost of living between Canada and the U.S.? In this video, I'll break down the most common expenses in both countries, compare median incomes, and answer once and for all, which country is more affordable? Who is each country best suited for? Let's get into it. Canada and the US are vastly different countries in geography, climate, and economic structure. So national averages aren't enough to make a fair comparison. Instead, we'll compare similar-sized cities in both countries, Toronto, Canada, versus Chicago, USA. Both are major economic hubs with similar climates. Vancouver versus Seattle, close neighbors with nearly identical geography. Calgary versus Denver, Rocky Mountain cities with oil, tech, and outdoor lifestyles. Edmonton versus Minneapolis, cold winters, shopping hubs, strong arts, and culture scenes. By doing this, we get a realistic comparison of what life is actually like in each country. First, let's look at median household incomes in these cities. In Canada, incomes are more stable across cities. In the US, income disparities are higher, meaning some states offer way more earning potential than others. For example, in the US, median income can range from $47,000 in Mississippi to $130,000 in Massachusetts, a huge gap. In contrast, Canada's income range is more balanced, similar to the income levels of the southern and eastern U.S. states. But here's where things get interesting. Income alone doesn't tell the full story. You can earn $100,000 a year, but if half of it goes to taxes, how much are you really keeping? U.S. tax rates vary by state, and some have no state income tax at all. Canada has higher overall deductions, including pension plan contributions for retirement income, employment insurance, for job loss protection. These mandatory deductions reduce Canadian take-home pay, even if the gross salary is similar. After taxes, Canadians take home a fairly even income across cities, while in the U.S., you can make $8,000 a month in Seattle, but only $5,000 in Chicago. The variation is much bigger in the U.S. No matter where you live, housing is the biggest expense. We compared median rent prices for a one-bedroom apartment in each city. Vancouver is by far the most expensive. The numbers almost don't make sense. Seattle offers the best value in the United States, high incomes and relatively affordable rent. Minneapolis and Edmonton are the most affordable cities in this comparison. If you remove Vancouver as an outlier, rent isn't drastically different between the two countries, just a 2% difference in income spent on housing. So housing isn't necessarily cheaper in the United States. It depends on the city. Beyond housing, we also looked at costs for groceries, utilities, car ownership, gas, and public transit and entertainment. Groceries and gas are cheaper in the United States because of larger local production and fewer regulations. Car ownership and utilities are often more expensive in the United States, though this varies by state. Entertainment costs are fairly similar, except Vancouver is surprisingly expensive in every category. Overall, living expenses aren't dramatically different, but and there's one major outlier: healthcare. Here's where the difference between Canada and the US really shows. In the US, even with employer-sponsored private health insurance, you still pay for doctor visits, medications, and deductibles. Costs are at least double or triple what Canadians pay. Uninsured, medical bills can bankrupt you. In Canada, most medical visits and procedures are free, covered by public health care. Private insurance helps with dental, vision, and prescriptions. You never have to worry about medical bankruptcy. If you're healthy, employed, and rarely go to the doctor, the U.S. system might work for you. But if you have health issues or are unemployed, Canada is a much safer option. Thinking of starting a family, this is where Canada pulls ahead. Canada has $10 a day daycare programs in most provinces, saving parents thousands each year. Canada offers 52 weeks of parental leave. The U.S. has no guaranteed paid parental leave and limited childcare support. In the U.S., daycare can wipe out most of a household's extra income, making it much harder to raise a family. If you're single, this may not matter. But for families, Canada is clearly more affordable. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. It depends on your lifestyle and priorities. If you value lower taxes and higher salaries, the U.S. might be a better choice, but only in the right states. If you want stability, healthcare security, and family benefits, Canada is the better option. The U.S. gives you more control over your money. You decide where to spend it. Canada takes more in taxes, but guarantees social protections like healthcare and childcare. Each system has trade-offs, and what's best depends on your life stage, health, and family situation. There's no perfect country, just the right fit for you. If you want higher pay and lower taxes, the U.S. wins, but beware of healthcare and daycare costs. If you want stability, security, and social benefits, Canada is the better long-term bet. What do you think? Would you rather live in Canada or the U.S.? Let me know in the comments.